Hello, greetings from Lusaka, Zambia. Today, it's our pleasure to have Forrest and Amanda Chen to share with us their insights on Chinese companies doing business in Southeast Asia. HOB launched the first global China service in the mid-market in 2010. Today, we have established a dynamic business ecosystem supported by Chinese-speaking professionals inside China and overseas, covering key commercial centers and capital markets. So, Forrest and Amanda, would you please give us a very brief introduction about yourself?
Okay, thank you, Coco. I'm Forrest, and I'm from China, Tahota law firm. Actually, I've been in this law firm for 17 years. Tahota law firm, as of today, is a large law firm. So we have 28 offices globally and around 3,400 lawyers in China. So we provided comprehensive services to our clients from China or globally.
Thank you very much, Forrest. And Amanda?
Thank you, Coco. My name is Amanda from RHD Law Asia. I'm dual qualified in Singapore and China. And RHD Law is full service law firm based in Singapore. And we also have footprints in all of the Southeast Asia countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. So I would like to start with my first question, which is for both of you. What is your observation of the new trends of a Chinese outbound investment and the business activities in Southeast Asia?
Maybe I go first. I've been practicing in Singapore for 20 years. So actually in the past 20 years, it has been that outbound investment from China has been the main force as compared to the inbound. Yeah. And I think in the past 5 years, apparently this growth has increased drastically. So we see many sectors like EV, new and clean energy, TMT, meaning technology, media, telecom. Yeah, all this, and also new economies like fintech and financial services. Yeah, area.
Yeah. As far as a Chinese lawyer, we saw that a lot of Chinese companies going abroad with the policy of one belt or one road. Actually, this is one side, but from another side, it is still one of their business strategies and business requirement based on the international market. So going abroad is profitable, in my point of view, than only domestic business as of today. So even in some industries. So, for the companies who are seeking profitable, so they may seek more opportunities, not only in China, but also globally. So this is, I think this is most motivations for the most Chinese to going abroad. But secondly, there is some other reasons, which means I think is not business reasons to push them to going abroad. For example, the sanction from Chinese products, made in China products. So they have to change their place of origin law to some other places. So this push them to going abroad as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Forrest. And you are helping Chinese companies with global footprints. So compare with other markets, what are the key challenges that your clients are facing in Southeast Asia?
Well, talking about South Asia, it's close to China. It's close to China. So, which means that everything in flights is easy. So Chinese companies are more happy to go to Southeast Asia, everything for investment. But talking about the risks, so I think there are several, for example, in Thailand, which I'm in charge now. So in Thailand, there are a lot of, investment restrictions in terms of law. So that will make the Chinese investors confused about what should I do? What is the next step? So I think the first challenge is there is a different system of law. It's totally different than the experience they had met. Maybe they have some experience. Maybe they have 20 years experience doing business in China, but they have zero business doing business in Thailand. It's different. So for the first things is that they have to know the regulations, how to do it legally in Southeast Asia. It's the first point. Second point, I think, is also the management way. The management way that you have to comply with the way of local ways for your company's management. You cannot do it in your own ways in China. It's totally different, which I saw a lot of cases that they do it some ways in same in China, but make a lot of problems. Even talk and communicate with the employees is different ways. So I think knowing the basic knowledge, even the laws, accounting, the taxes, is the most important things for them, and also is the most challenging things for them.
Okay, thank you very much, Forrest. Since we are talking about the challenges the clients are facing, Amanda, what are the challenges as a lawyer or legal service providers are facing when you are providing services to Chinese companies in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, thank you, Coco, for the question. I think for the key challenges are really arising from the different conditions of different countries in Southeast Asia. And other than Singapore itself, most of the Southeast Asia countries, the cultures are different. They have very complicated legal system and ever-changing of laws and policies. So these actually creates uncertainties, in terms of legal practice and whatever. So that's why I think all these key challenges will actually bring us to you really need to have your regional expertise and also some business your partners, like our offices in Southeast Asia, for example, Malaysia, Indonesia, and when we actually communicate with them, and also because of the language barrier, because English is our second language, right? For Chinese or for the Southeast Asian lawyers, all second language. So, and plus, because their laws are so complicated and ever-changing, so even when lawyers talking to lawyers, for a very simple legal issue, I have to spend a lot of time to clarify, and eventually I come to the conclusion. So this is very challenging, you know what I mean? So that's why I think that's the reason why PRC clients, when they come out of China and landing in Southeast Asia, we always strongly recommend them to set up their headquarter holding company in Singapore and engage us as a lead counsel, so that let us handle and communicate with various legal counsels in other countries, because otherwise, for clients to talk to them directly, it might be more time consuming and more costly, really. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. I can't agree more, because we have observed similar scenarios in the world of CPA firms. So HLB has been working with law firms for a very long time, and with law firms within our HLB network and beyond our network with external law firms and legal networks. So what's your view about the collaborations between law firms and the CPA firms? This question is for both of you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, since day one, 20 years ago, when I went to Singapore for practice, I was heavily involved in the capital market, as in IPO of PRC clients, PRC companies, and we have been closely working with CPAs, accountants, and bankers, and especially I think lawyers and accountants. We are best friends, really. We go out to hunt clients together, and once we secure a client, we refer to each other, and then once the project is kicked off, we work together. We go for the same site visit, and and sometimes actually accountants, because when they actually look at those numbers, they have to look at the underlying legal transactions, which has to be evidenced by the legal documents. So they have to ask us. And then while on the other hand, when we look at some legal documents, we can't actually find, because we are not good with numbers. So a lot of times, if there's any incompliance or defects or whatever, we can't really identify it, until the accountants discover it among all those numbers. So we really work very closely and help each other to actually serve the client better. Really, I think since day one until now, still, especially in capital market, cross-border M&A, yeah.
Perfect. Forrest?
Actually, I can't agree more with Amanda. From my experience, I do a lot of outbound investment for the Chinese companies. So take an example of Africa business, Africa experience. So for example, if there is an Africa investment from Chinese companies, so normally they want us to provide them legal environment legal report. And those environment report is not only legal, actually also includes the tax, including the accounting things, taxes, how to pay taxes, and exception, something like this. So in that case, we are going to, in my experience, provide them a combined report together with the CPA firms, law firms, CPA firms, Chinese firms, writing in Chinese or English. So is quite a difference that we work with them, we work together to provide this report to the Chinese clients to clarify everything, legal, tax, exception, or something like this. So I think we are, in a world, we are alliance, in working together. We reference the cases, we reference the clients, and we work together to communicate and to how to say it's a alliance, a partnership with alliance to all the things. Because we know that there are some mixed part between the law firms and CPA firms, but it doesn't make how to say, it doesn't make a change. It doesn't make competition, but it makes communicate. It's company with each other. So that one makes me happy and makes me comfortable with more CPA firms together, clients.
So happy to hear that we are indeed the best friends. So Amanda, you have a dual qualification in both China and Singapore. So what are the main differences between Chinese companies and the local companies in Southeast Asia in terms of business practice and the legal approach?
Okay, being a dual qualified lawyer, I think I certainly have certain advantage in the legal services. And in the practice, very, very often, our PRC clients, especially those SOE or major MNCs, when they present us a document, because they are in very strong negotiation power, so the documents are in Chinese. However, the governing law is Singapore law. So from this perspective, the client actually expect us to review a Chinese document, but apply Singapore law, which is written in English. So for this kind of review, definitely you will need dual qualified lawyers to review. Otherwise, if you approach Singapore lawyer whose Chinese is not good enough, maybe spoken Chinese is good, but they can't really comprehend, the legal terms, it doesn't work either. So I think this is quite challenging. So that's why we need to have a team, with dual qualification and strong Chinese capability, and then to apply the Singapore law. So this is one point that I would like to share. And also, I think during the practice, another observation is such that I think a lot of PRC clients, they have, especially SOEs, they have tight budget. But when they go to Southeast Asia, they actually want to engage us as the lead counsel, but sometimes, because maybe the legal, the applicable law, maybe it's Indonesian law. So when they actually approach us, they will think that, oh, Amanda, maybe you actually add on some cost, right? Then I don't need to, because I can speak English. I can go to the Indonesian lawyer directly. So in some cases, we actually share with them that it will be very challenging for you to communicate with them directly. However, If you don't see my value, of course, by all means, go ahead. So some clients actually learn some lesson. As in, of course, I will let them because I try to be transparent. So they will go to the Indonesian council directly. However, the direct result is really straight away the communication broke down because Chinese client expect that I pay you 2,000 USD. You help me answer these 5 questions. However, the Indonesian council's answer is not comprehensive. So I have to ask further question. And I don't want to pay more beyond 2K, right? However, the Indonesian council, they will say that, no, I quote 2K for only 5 questions and I've given you all the answers. If you ask me further, I have to charge more. And hence the communication broke down. And my client then came to me that this Indonesian firm is lousy. I don't want to use them anymore because they were upset about it. But you see, this is the result that, because if I were in the picture, I will have my value and contribution because I will know what exactly the PRC client's commercial needs are. And I will check the questions in terms of the wording they use, whether such questions have been accurately articulated in the way that with the purpose of getting the answer. You know what I mean? Because if you don't frame your questions correctly, you won't get answers that you want, right? Within your budget. So yeah, I think this is just one example that, I encounter very often. So I think, as I said just now, because of the culture difference, the complicated legal regime and ever-changing policy, the legal market there is very challenging. So you really need to have a capable team and reliable team. In Chinese, we call 靠谱的律师, 对吗? Yeah, to handhold you to venture into the Southeast Asia countries.
Yeah, thanks very much, Amanda. Indeed, it's very important to address the cultural dynamics, and it's also our role as the professional service provider to bridge the gap and also help with the understanding from the both sides. And we do listen to the feedbacks from the clients, and we also heard from some of the Chinese companies to give us the feedback, like when HLB used to provide them tax and accounting support overseas, now they are asking for us to have a comprehensive scope of a support, also include like a risk management on the legal side as well. So Forrest, what's your recommendation to Chinese companies doing business in Southeast Asia on risk management?
Well, talk about risk management. I in the first stage of this conversation dialogue, I mentioned that the law is different for them, for the old experience. So I think there are a lot of things to control risks. I think there are 2 aspects. One is for the internal risk management. Another is for external. For the internal, for example, if it is a SOET state-owned company, of Chinese state-owned company, they have a very full internal rules and regulations for approval, for step-step approval. So in such case, so it is still a risk. It's a risk to someone. If a director of a local director in breach of these rules, maybe he will move out immediately from their board. So in one side, the risk management, they have to stick on the internal rules. Maybe it's the Chinese laws. For the external, I think there are you are going to a new environment. You are in a good environment. So controlling the risk means that you have to know it first, and to make regulations and do it fully straight with the local laws and the requirement for that. So I think there are a lot of things. I think I cannot tell the details today, but the most key point is, for example, is to to seek advices from your lawyers, advices from your tax advisors, advices from the accounting firms, give him to ask him also some advice from some consulting companies to ask them to give you proper advices before you take any comprehensive big actions, something. For example, I have several cases in Thailand involving involving a guarantee. For they sell the products to someone else and they want to ask the buyer to make personal guarantees. But in Thailand, make personal guarantees is not such easy. It's not just sign a document that would make sense. There were a lot of things, have a witness or something like that, and to prove that the effectiveness of this signing. So you need to seek your lawyers' advices before doing this business, doing work. So that will make everything happy, because risks always come from the negligence. So if you are careful with everything, that'll be okay, to control risks.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing the insights on Southeast Asia. So here's the final question for both of you. Because HOB's Global China Service is servicing the whole global market. So let's zoom out from Southeast Asia to the global context. What are your top suggestions to professional service providers, especially HOB member firms, in servicing Chinese companies in their local markets?
I think I got 3 points. The first is always professional, provide professional services. I got experience just a couple of days. So Chinese companies, they are seeking lawyers to provide services in Vietnam. So last two firms left for the bidding is Dentos and Chen and us. So we provide a lot of document to demonstrate that we are professional and the same as Chen, the same. And we did a lot of work to win this case. Eventually, I got bad news yesterday that they choose Chen instead of us. It is only because that we have less experience of helping the Chinese investment in Vietnam. But that team of Chen, they have more experience. I don't know, whether these experience are real to them, but they show their profession in the document. I don't. I think we both teams are never talk directly, but they show their profession in the beginning that in their paperwork that I can do this. I have some experience and I can show. No, they also look at the appearance of the Chinese firm, the both. So we have less list. The list is short than Dachshund. And so I think the clients is, they may spend a little bit more money to seeking more professional teams, because I know that Dachshund, their cost is higher than us. So this is my first impression of this. The second is is for the Chinese clients, you cannot calculate too much about the minor matters. You have to see the futures.
Free services.
Yes, it's the same. It means that it's the same. You have to give free services first. So because for most of the companies, they seek advices, initial advices first. This is free. They don't pay you, and then they go to organize a budget and ask approval from the management team, and then they can go back to you, say, okay, I can agree your codes or something. But in the initial stage, you have to suffer. There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions that. You think they should pay, but they say no, I cannot pay you because I haven't got a budget from the management team. So you have to suffer that, do a lot of things. It's the same with them. It's a culture. It's a culture. I cannot change it. The last thing is I think for the teams without for the HLB teams without China desk. So it's better, to engage someone who can speak Chinese. It's very important if they want to do some business, provide services with the Chinese clients, especially in Southeast Asia. In Africa, it's difficult. I know it's difficult. In Europe, it's possible. In US, it's most possible. But in Africa, it's different. But if you have this opportunity to engage who can speak Chinese in your firm, there will be, I guess, bring a lot of advantages to you to win in the market.
Yes, definitely. Totally agree. If no Chinese speaker, at least using WeChat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda?
Yeah, I think we sort of agree on a few points, but just to summarize that, I think the very first one I would say the bilingual capability is the basic. Otherwise, you can't serve Chinese clients, right? You won't understand the culture. It will be very difficult. Like our ASEAN country firm, most of them, they do not have Chinese capability because either Malay or Indonesian. In Cambodia, we finally found one, but that's very rare. So, but also because of that, then me as the lead counsel in Singapore, then my value is actually greater, right? So anyway, the bilingual capability is very crucial. Secondly, I will say is the regional expertise, like what Forrest mentioned as the first point, is the regional expertise. Because when clients come to us, for example, they want to go Indonesia for a power plant, the first question they ask is that, do you have track records? Have you done that before? Right? Show me your credential. So if you don't have that, you can't win the client. Same applies to other countries like Malaysia. Recently, we have one asking for DAX application, which is a digital asset exchange. And we have a senior Malay partner who, has direct track records and who has very strong relationship with the authority. That's the plus point, right? So the regional expertise is the second point that I would say very, very important. And last but not least, I would say is the strategic partners, meaning we as the law firm, while we have the law firm partner firms, or our rep office or other offices under IHT in other countries, but it's not enough, right? When clients want to go abroad, they need many other services like CorpSec or accounting, tax, etc., or valuer sometimes, right? And sometimes maybe in construction line, you need other, like another one, the shipping client came to us, the ship was registered in Liberia, like what I talked to the other partner yesterday, right? So if you have a wide network with other professionals beyond law, then you are more powerful. So you can straight away, that's why the day I told the client that, oh, don't worry, we have our footprint or our friends are all over the world. So we can take good care of you, right, as a team, so that client will actually feel comfortable and assured that, yes, when I make this move, everything is taken care of. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing the insight. And definitely, this goes in line with also HOB's growth strategy, because our growth will be really relying on, based on internal capabilities of our member firms, but also leveraged through external collaborations with business partners in the ecosystem. As you mentioned, not only lawyers, but maybe also bankers and other professional service providers. And thanks very much for Forrest and Amanda. CPA firms and law firms are not just the best friends, and we do not work just on case-by-case referrals. We hope to form a really long-term strategic relationship and to explore opportunities in the future to achieve a win-win. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.